soldier through, soldier through.
Soldier through, soldier through, soldier through.
I mean, Charlie, people probably look at you and think you're incredibly wealthy. You've had all these great opportunities and things that have happened in your life, but you've struggled too.
Of course, everybody struggles. The iron rule of life is everybody struggles.
I try and think back of what the toughest moments might have been and how you got through some of those. And I mean,
well, we all know how to get through them. The great philosophers of realism are also the great philosophers of what I call soldiering through. If you soldier through, you can get through almost anything. And it's your only option. You can't bring back the dead, you can't cure the dying child, you can't do all kinds of things. You have to soldier through it. You just, somehow you soldier through. If you have to walk through the streets crying for a few hours a day, it's part of soldiering through. Go ahead and cry away, but you have to. You can't quit. You can cry all right, but you can't quit.
You've had time in your life when you've done that?
Sure. I cried all the time when my first child died, but I knew I couldn't change the fate. In those days, the fatality with childhood leukemia was 100%.
That was your son.
That's gone away now. Now the cure rate is way up in the 90s, and it's an amazing development. Think of how much pleasure it's given me to watch the cure rate for leukemia. What mankind civilization did was soldier through those tough years that took away my cousin Tommy from meningitis, and took away my son Teddy from leukemia. Imagine pretty well fixing that disease for families who came into life later. It's a huge achievement. You can see why I like civilization. To me, civilization is what man has done over the last 2 centuries, and it's been a good thing to watch. Well, Warren was very close to his father, and of course he didn't like it, but Warren soldiers on. I think it just sobered him and hurt him. But both Warren and I could look at our fathers and see what they did right and what they did wrong. Warren's father was a strong ideologue, real old-fashioned right-wing ideologue, as was his grandfather. And his father was so intense about it that Warren just decided that it was a mistake. It cabbaged up your head to be that much of an ideologue. So he loved his father, but he didn't want to become that much of a true believer in anything. And so he avoided it. I have never heard Warren complain about a downdraft. I've never heard him indicate that he regards the world as being unfair to him. Even when Susie died, which really shook him up for quite a while even. But he never complained. He never thought the world was being unfair when they took her away. Some people just naturally complain, and other people are just naturally put their head down and sail through it, soldier through it. Warren and I believe in soldiering through without too much fuss. I have the theory that the dumbest thing you can do in life is to ever feel like a victim. And any politician that makes people feel like victims, I automatically dislike. I never saw any good to come of feeling like a victim. Even if you are a victim, I think it's a mistake. The Chinese were living in poverty, subsistence agriculture, in caves and so on, real poverty, hundreds of millions of them. And they worked their way out of poverty. And look at them now. How would it have worked if they said, no, we'll vote ourselves rich. We'll just raise the minimum wage. It's so much better to use the Chinese way. They just soldiered through and worked their way out.
When it comes to adversity, you have just to soldier through. Being too frightened leads to contempt. Coping with adversity brings opportunities. Don't panic or go crazy. People will always remember the person who could keep his or her cool. When Bobby Kennedy was dying and the entire Kennedy family was falling apart, Jackie Kennedy was the only person who kept her head. Who do we remember? We remember Jackie Kennedy.
Charlie, when you used to talk about that you just soldier through. You just keep going. But you still need luck. You don't want to. Anybody that says I did it all myself is just kidding. I mean, they're delusional.